just finish what I was saying with Juliana, because I think we were on at that moment, is that um, just to honor that waxing and waning and the recognition that we are like nature and there's a season to everything. And when we forget that is that's where we create the disconnect, right? That's where we create the more heaviness on our bodies, on our sensuality, on our relationships. But when we can really go into the winter, go into the cave, go into the winter, and be there in order to gather what you need to from it. It's going to just free us up to all the pleasure and all the connection we really want. Because that's another thing Juliana said. I just want to touch on that for a minute, is the vulnerability piece. Right? When we are that open and we reach out to people in our life during our winter, it's where others are going to mirror that and become vulnerable with us. So the saying is vulnerability is sexy. It's
Yes, it is.
yes.
Yeah. And I get, like when we were saying before sport that in the waxing and waning of things, because we've forgotten this, because we don't honor that, we have so much pressure to have every relationship be amazing, always happy, always connected, always fulfilling, always sexual. All of our sexual relationships should be hot and fabulous and all those kinds of things. We don't allow there to be those changes in our life. And because we don't embrace them, then I think we really miss so much of the growing opportunity. For me, when I think of what growth looks like, it's not a ladder, it's not a stair step, it's a spiral. And with those spirals that go up, it's a spiral because it's moving, but it has a circle. And in those circles, that's kind of where the shit is sometimes. That's the winter that you're speaking of. It feels like you are reverting back. It feels like you're in the yuck, in the muck. But really what it's doing, it's catapulting you to the next place. If you hold on to the ride for it, if you know this is the natural progress and the natural part of how we are as humans in relationships with ourselves and with each other, and that it's not this huge tragedy when these things happen, is we haven't done something wrong or bad. This is the natural flow of things. And we have faith that it's going to be moving us to the next phase as it should be, as we are growing, if we are on for the ride instead of fighting it and making sure that we're not going to have that.
That's so beautiful. And it makes me think of too, like women coming attuned back to natural cycles in nature, like tracking their moon cycles, tracking the cycles that they have, from maidenhood into womanhood into crondom, like understanding that there's seasons and each season is beautiful in its own way. Makes you think of too, like in fall, there's this beautiful quote. It's like, fall reminds us to let go of the dead things, that's okay.
I saw that today. It's great. Yeah.
Just it's so beautiful too, because women's bodies are attuned naturally to these cycles, but sometimes we forget in modern society when we're not reminded of this, or we're not, encouraged to explore this, right? Because it can't come from anybody else. We have to get back attuned to it. And it's not so woo-woo. It's actually, it's been part of our cycles since humanity's been on this planet. So I love that. I love that piece. Was that part of your ritual, Juliana, that you started to explore into?
Not really. We were just talking back and forth about boundaries and vulnerability, and had just brought up about the shoulds and not having the shoulds. Oh, you know what? I was talking about. Sorry, I forgot. It was about.
So maybe I'll ask you again. So, what would you say is one ritual that you've incorporated into your own life that others can as well, that helps you tap back into your primal, juicy, sensual self, even if you don't always feel that, or if you're going through like a transition, especially for all of the women out there, maybe who don't feel comfortable in their bodies, or who don't feel beautiful or don't feel sensual? What is one practice or ritual that they can incorporate that reminds them of who they are?
For me, I really find strength and power in welcoming when I'm having a grieving process for myself. I am not afraid of the grieving process. Because I know I will get on the other side of it. I know that there are circumstances, as a therapist, I certainly work with that when there's clinical things that are different. But in general, when I know that this is a seasonal thing for me, when I can get out of my head and stop feeling sorry for myself or feeling, like a victim in it, when I can switch to, no, thank you. Thank you for this. I'm going to be learning. I'm going to be growing from this. Do as little harm to myself and to others while I'm going through this process, and just finding a place in gratefulness for it and for the journey that it's taking me on. That is immeasurably powerful to me when I learned how to do that.
Oh, beautiful. So maintaining that connection to your grief, even when you don't really want to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And knowing it's not going to stay, knowing that it can move, and it will move if I don't fight it. If I was like, okay, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this in a different way with not putting the creativity and everybody and the negativity in the van with her. But that's often a good visual of, like, I'm going to put the body shame or and I love what she says is, you can get in the van with me, but you just don't get to drive. And so, okay, like, you may be terrified, you're gonna be alone the rest of your life. I have certainly been in that place. But instead of being like, oh, like, what am I gonna do? It's like, okay, I can't get rid of you. It is just part of who I am. I am going to naturally fear this thing, but okay, but you're not in control. You're not gonna be.
Beautiful. I am so excited. Awakened Woman is coming up really, really soon. It's in 2 months.
Yay!
Going to be exploring in greater with the women that are less, that we are having these conversations because it seems so relevant for women today, right now. And it feels like there is a huge connection too. I mean, we have the American election coming up. Both of you are Americans, so it's really interesting that this is actually pretty much timed with the elections very closely. And it feels like there's something is building in the awakening for women right now that's happening. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the elections there. And I just wanted to say, this is such an amazing start to the women that are watching their journey. And so for many of you, this will be enough information to get you started in unleashing that primal. We know that it'll make a huge difference to have support in your progress. And we're really excited to announce that yesterday we just actually launched our deal to attend Awaken. So even if you can't be with us there in person, you're going to be able to tune in from anywhere in the world and watch these 2 amazing women share their insights and guide us in these processes this November. So I am so excited. It's going to be amazing. And it's so affordable. It's $47. And there's an announcement that we're going to be making shortly, but we also are going to be supporting the building of a land project in the States. We're not releasing too much information right now, but a percentage of the profits from the Awaken Women Conference will be going towards this land project. So we'll be announcing more information on that very soon, but our dreams are coming true faster than we anticipated. So I just want to share that with you too on the call today and with everyone out there. So our work in unleashing ourselves is making a difference, and we invite you to join us this November. So I just wanted to thank you both for being here today. And I wanted to ask, if someone wants to follow up and go deeper into these topics with you, what projects are you working on, or courses can they take with you right now so that they can start to unleash themselves more?
So I'm starting a masterclass that I'll be working with women. I have several different groups that I'm starting. One is for women who are in recovery, and where we'll be diving into sexuality and the differences and the focuses of women in recovery. And then also for women who are newly divorced and are newly single. And we'll be focusing on like be your own sexpert, but it's gonna be once a week for 6 weeks, and it's starting in November, both of those groups.
Ooh, exciting. Great. And do you have links that you can share with us later?
I will, yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Great. And Zipporah, do you have some courses coming up?
I do. I have a couple. I have my one-on-one mentoring course, which is 90 Days to Revolutionizing Intimacy, that I actually just graduated 2 of my students this week. So I have 2 new spots opening over the next 2 weeks. I also have Unleash Spirit in Your Sex Life for Couples, which is a 6-week course. So they can find information on my website. And then the big one is next January. Registration's already open for the 6-day revolutionary training to unleash the soulful relating leader in you from the bedroom to the boardroom. And that's happening in San Diego, California.
Ooh, exciting. Maybe I'll have to make it out there for that. That would be lovely.
Oh, I want to say one more thing too. I'm actually doing a destination retreat in Ibiza in June, and it's called Skinny Dip for the Soul. And we are going to be for 7 days in Ibiza. We're going to be meditating on cliff sides, and we're doing this beautiful ritual out on the beach. And I have a woman, Jennifer Navin, who's doing it with me. We're doing lots of beautiful yoga that's connecting with our sensual and sexual selves. And I am so excited to have people come for that as well.
Wonderful. Oh, I can't wait. Well, we'll share all of this information with everyone that's watching. And we're excited for you to unleash your presence. It is so important that we do this work for ourselves, but also and for our daughters and our sons and for the men and women in our lives. So today, allow yourself to be unleashed. See you soon, ladies, and before you know it. And thank you again for being here and just sharing from your hearts and your souls and following your path in this work, because it is so valuable, so important, and so needed for women today. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was lovely sharing space today.
Yeah, thank you for creating it.
Beautiful. Thanks, ladies. All right. Well, have a wonderful day, and